let's get to it. Okay, so I'm going to show everyone all of the mixes that I have right here. Okay, so I've got all the cookies, sugar cookie and double chocolate chip cookie. I've got here breakfast snacks, pancakes and muffins. I've got the 2 cakes, yellow snack cake and chocolate snack cake. And then I've got the blondies and the brownies.
Yeah.
So we've got 8 mixes all here. We don't have your chocolate chip cookie, but it will be launching on Switch. And then we don't have cornbread.
It just got released. Not yet. So you'll be having it. You'll be the only one in Canada to have it.
I'm so excited. So I think for everyone who doesn't, like, everyone knows us, so we don't need to do an introduction. But I am just super excited to work with, I'm just going to say Goodies, because, okay, well, I'm super excited to work with you. You're such a, like, I don't even know, the epitome of an entrepreneur who's just hustling.
You are.
And bringing us all these amazing mixes.
You are a hustler with a capital H.
So let's get right into it.
Okay.
So maybe you can kind of talk us through, and just for everyone that's joining, we're going to go through basically every mix. We're going to try to get Dina to tell us her favorite, which she probably won't, but we'll be like, hey, like, favorite for this type. And then we're going to go through some of the directions, customizations, what you can sub, because she's been doing some awesome Trial Tuesdays. And Dina, you know, we have some customer friends that are like allergic to eggs. You know what I mean? And
I'm laughing because AD Keto is making fun of us. He said entrepreneurs wearing contacts.
Yes, that should be a hashtag.
That should be a hashtag. That's a lot of work, by the way. I'm like,
we put in our contacts. Aaron, I wonder if Aaron wears contacts too. Maybe he does.
Maybe.
Well, tell us. Raising a business and tiny humans. Yes, you raise a business and tiny humans.
Thank you. They are tiny.
Dina's always telling me, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this if and when I have children. And she's like, you'll just do it.
You will. It's actually, you become if possible, you become even more efficient. You have no choice.
Yeah, I'm guessing. You're just like, okay, I'm going to get done in 2 hours what normally people would get done in 8 hours.
100%. And also when you start wearing them on you, like the baby wearing, you get so much more done. I mean, the mixes I came up with while Gus was like right here, poor thing. And I was like trying to peek over his head when he was asleep and like writing down like the measurements. I was like, okay.
So going back to that then, Dina, how did you, like, I mean, I've heard obviously your interview with Keto Connect, but do you want to talk us a little bit through like how did you even get the idea, and then what kind of drove you to make these mixes for people?
Yeah. So I guess I'll say what drove me, and then I know the story behind each one. So, and I'll make it quick. I won't be too fast. Okay. I mean, I won't be too slow.
We have all the time.
Okay. It is the baby's nap time, so I do have a bit of time, which is weird. But so I started it because I had Ibby, who's my almost 6-year-old. He's 6 on Friday, so I'm very emotional about that. And I had him, and I know a lot of people probably, you know, they always told me your body changes after you have a baby. But they didn't mention like also like your metabolism changes. So I used to be able to count calories before I had Ibby, and I would lose weight really fast if I just ate less. And then it wasn't working anymore. And I was like, well, okay. And then 8 or 9 months after I had him, I started doing a lot of research. And then I started with Ducon, and I didn't like it. And then I moved into Atkins, and then I found keto. And then now I'm just low carb. Some days more keto than others, but I am low carb. And when I first did it, that's when I was finally able to, I was like, oh my gosh, sugar is a trigger for me. And then I realized that sugar, that makes sense because diabetes runs in my family and my mom has it. So I was like, wow, all those times she was eating sugar-free stuff, I was like, it's not sugar, it's fat. And I'm like, never mind. So when I started eliminating sugar from my diet, you know, that are not naturally recurring, obviously, I just noticed the change, and I realized what makes me feel better and what doesn't, and that was one of them. So then I started baking. I like to cook and I like to bake, and then I started experimenting, and that's when I found out what erythritol is, and I was like, I can make stuff with almond flour. It was very weird. So I started making it for people, and especially my sister actually, and she herself is an entrepreneur, so she was like, you should do something with this. And so and my family, we're an entrepreneurial family, like my dad is as well.
I know.
Yes. And so then I was like, okay. And so I was actually going to make it into a ready-made cookie. And then I realized that that doesn't make sense because some people don't want butter. They want coconut oil. That was like the first thing I thought about.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, I need people who want to be dairy-free. So then I was like, let me make into a mix. And then I started with the original chocolate chip cookie mix that has now changed recipes. But that was the first thing that I did. And I launched it 3 days before I turned 31 because I wanted to say that I started a business when I was 30. So with 3 days to go. And
I didn't make the cut there.
I mean, I barely made it. Like I was like, and it was like, it technically doesn't count because it was the pre-sale and I didn't have the inventory in my hands. But you know, I was like,
hey, it counts.
It counts. So I did that, and then that's when I was having everything, and then I found out a month later I was pregnant with my second, little Gus. Yeah. And I was like, oh, and I was also doing my other job that I teleworked from home, and it was a marketing position, and it was, you know, you understand how it is in corporate America, pretty intense.
Right.
You know, because you work from home does not mean it's any easier.
No.
And so I did that, and I was pregnant, and then I was like, okay, I want to release another mix before I give birth to Gus in August. And it took me about 8 months to work on the brownie mix.
Yeah.
And then I got the brownie mix, and I actually released the brownie mix 3 days before my C-section. And then I told everyone I found out I was #1 on Amazon for brownie mixes while I was in the hospital after my C-section. And I was like, yay! So now I was like, they're my little good luck charms. And my husband was like, okay, do this full force then. Like, this is, put your whole attention into it. Because it's hard, you know, when you're doing two things at once, you need money from one to put into the other one. But there's that point where you have to take that chance, and it's terrifying because you're like, but I don't have that same amount of income coming in. Right. And it's scary.
It is scary.
And New York's expensive. So I was like, okay. But when, you know, my husband was very supportive, he's like, just do this. Let's just find out if this is like really something. And I was like, okay. Yeah. And then I got lucky, and it was very hard the first 8 months because then I was also shipping everything. So I had my giant stroller that everyone hates me for in New York. Like, they despise. Like, I know people get the dirtiest looks. They're like, so I would like stick everything underneath. After I took my older one to school, I have the baby, and then we'd go to the post office, and then as I'm breastfeeding, I'm just printing out the orders, and then I did it. And then finally I got to the point where I was like, okay, I have too many SKUs now, because after the brownies, I was like, what's going to be my third one? I did Snickerdoodle, and which is now discontinued, which I'm sad about, but that's okay. I won't dwell on it. And so then after that, I was like, let me launch Blondies. Right. And I was like, okay. And then my husband's like, we can't, we're in a New York apartment. Like, we cannot have 4 SKUs. Right. It covered the wall. Then I have pictures of like my little, like, it'd be like helping me carry the boxes from the truck. And the truck people were like, why are we like delivering this to an apartment? I was like, I'm pretty sure.
I love it.
I mean,
and for people who don't know what SKUs are, they're just different products.
Yeah, sorry. So so I had 4 at that point. That's when I was like, okay. And you don't really want to make that investment yet because it's a lot of money to have a fulfillment center and to fill. And I was like, okay. But after 4, it made no sense. Like, I had boxes everywhere. It was you're like jumping over. So I would get so happy when I would sell everything because that was one less box. I was like, just come on. Right. So, and then and when I made the Blondies were really inspired by my mom because it's a bit, the texture and the look of it, and even a little bit of the taste is very reminiscent of a specific Middle Eastern dessert. No, so it's very funny that the ones who like it the most, like from my family, that's their favorite mix. So,
is it?
And my mom likes to add rose water to it and almonds. So that's the Lebanese in her.
And I love how people make the mixes, that they're always adding things
I love it. That's exactly what I wanted it for. And the fact that people do it, it makes me so happy. Like, because I feel like when people start eliminating sugar, they feel like they have to eliminate a lot of stuff, and they get like very exact and fair. It is a cereal medley. And it was like, you'd eat something, and she's like, I made it with Cheerios, and then you'd find like a Fruit Loop. She goes, there was some left. So you had to do that.
And you know, Gina, that we're really intentional with who we bring on into the SwitchGrocery family. And one of the really big reasons I felt like so many of our customer friends, yes, this direction, we're going to save this live. We'll save this live, definitely. So what I found last fall was really, really hard for me. I found it really difficult. So I'm from like, you know, basically mixed family. Like we're celebrating Christmas with Brian's family and Diwali with my family. So fall is all just gatherings and eating.
Very
And
stressful.
I really struggle. And so many of our customer friends last year were just really struggling on like people. It's giving people anxiety that they're just like, oh my God, there's going to be fall. We're going to have to go to these parties. I don't know what to bring. And like, you know, I mean, obviously all of my family gatherings, it's everything is made with like half a cup of sugar, or I don't even know, a cup of sugar or something like that.
Margarine.
So I really everything, and I felt like this was the right time for us. Like I just think that these are the mixes that solve such a big fundamental problem for our customer friends, where it's what do I want dessert at night. I'm throwing a party. I'm going to a party. And I really just don't want to give up the taste of sugar with this lifestyle, you know?
Thank you for saying that. That's really nice. Thank you.
So I just, for sure, like this was kind of basically a no-brainer for us. And I think that this has been so helpful for our customer friends. We're already seeing that through the orders come through.
I'm very excited about it. And you know, you and I I'm going to share this with whoever's watching. You and I were both as entrepreneurs, not just female entrepreneurs, just entrepreneurs,
right?
Just having this struggle during the holiday season where you're lucky that you're growing. You like feel so grateful, but then there's those growing pains. And when you're a perfectionist, like both of us are, it was really hard. I mean, and we are, and I mean, I was thinking about it. We were really hard on ourselves because a lot of things are just not in our hands. And that's the problem. We were just like, oh my God, like, why is this happening? And, you know, you live and you learn. But even with planning, like I'm a big planner, you're a big planner. And there's just things that you cannot control. And it is the worst feeling ever. I just want to share that with everyone because it was really stressful.
So we did a mega bundle, which is one of each mixes. And we got that from a small town. The first order was from a small town in Northern Ontario.
Oh my gosh.
And that's kind of what I mean, right? Like people just do not, they don't have access like at all. And so we have done some research. So for people who are thinking of ordering the mixes, they are tax exempt in Canada. We believe that they would classify as tax exempt in every province under the Canadian rules, which is fantastic. So each mix is $15.99 and they are all basically tax exempt. So that's great. The price is what you see at checkout. You'll see no taxes added. So that's amazing. And we also have a mix with all of them. The shelf life on them is great. So even if you're thinking of making them in the fall, we were able to do the low carb bundle, which is 10% off each mix, which also is obviously tax exempt.
That's great. That's really good. Yeah, they're tax exempt in the US too. I don't know what the rules are in Canada, but ours is because you have to add things. If you have to add things to it for the final product, they're tax exempt.
Okay. It's a little bit more complicated. You have to go down a rabbit hole, but we went down the rabbit hole and we also
sure you did.
We went down the rabbit hole. Okay, so like let's get into the mixes.
Yes.
I thought we could get into some directions, some customization, some what you've tried.
Yes.
Do you want to start with the cakes? Okay, let's start with the cakes. Let's go.
Let's do it.
So we have the chocolate snack cake.
Chocolate snack cake, which is one of my favorites. As you know, in the back of, the Blondies.
Sorry, we have the yellow snack cake.
The yellow snack cake. Okay, so for these, as you know, in the back, I give options with eggs.
Yeah.
And that's because some people like a firmer cake, some like the moister, softer cake, because I told you I'm very indecisive. And actually, I'm not. I'm very decisive about my indecisiveness. So I give myself options. So for the cakes, a lot of people love for the yellow cake. So for the yellow cake, I prefer to put lemon extract and put shredded unsweetened coconut shreds, small
pieces. Wow.
And that's one of my that's one of my favorite things to do with that one.
Okay.
For the chocolate cake, I love to add even though it's sunflower seed based, I do love to add nuts to it. It's one of my favorite things to do. If someone doesn't want to add nuts to it, I like to do a peanut butter cream cheese swirl in it. That's one of my favorites.
How do you do that?
So I have like those things where I melt the cream cheese and the peanut butter. Then once I put the chocolate cake in its pan, then I kind of do a thing where I put the melted cream cheese peanut butter mixture on top, and then I try to make a swirly design. My swirly design never looks good. I'm more about practicality, and I know how to make a mix. I don't know how to take pictures, and I don't know how to make things look beautiful. Like, so like with food, I just want to eat it.
Right.
So that's what I do with that one.
Great.
I also like it just with whipped cream, to be honest with you.
Okay. And when your whipped cream just sounds so delicious. One of I think you saw Jennifer made the yellow snack cake, and she had fresh strawberries and whipped cream. Right?
I know. So
people
have been making it like almost like a strawberry shortcake, which is pretty cool.
That's amazing. So
I know.
The other thing I was thinking about was when you're adding in so I'm saying I'm a baking newbie, right? Would I be adding all the ingredients and things on after or within the mix, whatever you're recommending?
So yeah, so for the yellow cake, I would put the shredded coconut first with the dry mix.
Okay.
About 1/4 cup to start. And then once you add the wet ingredients, with the wet ingredients, you put the lemon extract.
Great. Okay.
And then you mix it. And it's going to be a bit thicker because coconut is very absorbent. And so you're going to want to make sure, so when you put it out, don't be alarmed that it's not like pouring in like a batter. You're going to be having to pat it down a bit.
Got it. That's fantastic. I'm so excited. Okay. So I'm going to put the cakes away. And we're moving to the Blondies and the Brownies.
Okay, so you know with the brownies, I give the option of either fudgy versus cakey.
Yeah.
And for those people love to do cheesecake brownies, or what I like to do, what are they called? The brookies. So I like to mix it with, so I do with my chocolate chip cookie mix. I do one layer of the brownie, I do one layer of the cookies, and then I pour the brownie batter over, and then I bake it.
I can't
It's really good. So that's actually my favorite. And I'm actually going to make it again once my cookies come in because they just started shipping out again. It was very stressful. Oh, that's another thing that's a very pricey ingredient is the chocolate chips, not going to lie. Yeah. And I had to find a new vendor for it because the one I used is no longer producing. Because the only sugar-free chocolate chips that are actually affordable, they have maltitol, and I'm a no maltitol zone. So
I've seen it. No maltitol.
I know. I'm very big on that no maltitol.
I hear you.
I have that. So that's what I like to do with the brownies. For the blondies, it really is what my mom, with the rose water, it's really good, and the shredded almonds, the sliced almonds. I don't know why I say shredded. And then the other thing with blondies is I actually prefer to put a different flavor extract as well. I actually like to put lemon extract. I don't know. I'm a lemon person, but a lot of people have been putting banana extract and then putting nuts and cream cheese. So it's like a banana nut flavor. I mean, the customers actually make a lot more creative things than I do. So they do banana nut bars with the blondies, and then they add a cream cheese layer on top.
I cannot handle this right now.
I know that someone made it. I think it was Danny Goes Keto to give credit. Okay. So she put banana extract, added nuts, like I think walnuts, and then she put a cream cheese layer on top.
That sounds so amazing. And Erica says blondies are her favorite.
They're my favorite.
Oh, you picked a flavor. You heard it here. Dina picked
hold on. They're one of my favorites. I'm very each one has a special place in my heart. I love them all equally. They're all my babies. I love them all equally. The blondies, because they remind me of childhood. Yeah. They're very special to me. Brownies, because I was obsessed with Little Debbie, those brownie snack cakes, and that filled the void for me while I was pregnant. But it's nice without getting diabetes. So,
well, Stella's watching, so I might have to make her some brownies now.
Yeah, make it.
Okay, and do you mind going over a little bit in terms of because I know that you talked about this, but again, I'm just thinking about someone who's not baked before and gets very overwhelmed, aka me. Lemon extract, how much would you add, and when would you add it again?
So I would add lemon extract. I would add about 1 teaspoon because lemon extract is really strong. Lemon and almond, I would always do 1 teaspoon. Vanilla, I'm okay with even up to 1 tablespoon, but the other ones are just so strong. Like almond is very strong for me. Okay, great. That sounds awesome. And the sliver, like the almond slivers, when would you add those? About a quarter a cup. And what I would do is you can do it a couple of ways. You can add it to the dry mix and then add the wet ingredients if that's easier for you. Or you can just kind of sprinkle them on top and press them in. I feel like I would do
Yeah, I would think I would do the sprinkling on top and pressing them in.
It is easier to do them.
Amazing. I'm so excited. Orange is very
Excited.
strong too. Okay. Oh, I didn't even think about orange.
Orange, that's actually pretty cool.
I think I would add
Although
orange.
I'd probably do the orange extract with the yellow cake and kind of have like a creamsicle thing.
Yes. So much yes. I should have, I made the blondies and they lasted 2 days.
I have to say the Blondies have a special, I feel like the Blondies have a special place in my heart, like I said, because for my mom to approve of it,
right.
she's like picky.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the cookies. So we don't have the chocolate chip cookie yet, but we have the double chocolate chip, and then we have the sugar cookie, which is your newest. Why don't we talk about these?
Okay, so the good thing about the cookie mixes, and I think I've said it before, but they are really good for having anyone who has an egg allergy. They're very easy to do with an egg replacer. I do flax or chia seed egg.
Okay.
The equal to 1. So it's like about 1 tablespoon with the 3 tablespoons of liquid, and then they have to make it into the egg. And then they are very adaptable that way. So I just wanted to put that
awesome
because I know it's important, especially because they're just such sturdy. They're very thick. So I've tried it multiple times. I haven't put on the back of the mix yet, just because I want to keep testing, but they've been okay.
Okay. And sorry, you said chia seed egg replacement or flax egg replacement?
You can do either.
I can do either.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to point out the sugar cookies with almond flour and the double chocolate chip cookies with sunflower seed flour.
I tried to make a sugar cookie with the sunflower. It just wasn't. I had to be realistic. That's when I had to learn to. I know, but I wanted to make those so bad because during the holiday season, I love those sugar cookies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wanted that taste, and it took me forever to make that mix. Forever. The easiest, like the fastest mix for me was the Blondies.
Okay.
I had a dream. So I have a notebook next to my bed, and then I woke up and I put Blondies. I remember I went to sleep. I have problems.
Right.
And I was breastfeeding, so I was up anyway, and I was like thinking about it. And I was like, oh God, I know how I want them to taste. And I got exactly what I wanted. And then I wrote everything down. And that's when my husband threw away all the papers in the kitchen drawer. And it had the recipe for the Blondies. I'm still very upset by that. This is 2 years ago, mind you. I'm still very angry. So year and a half.
It worked out.
It did. So, so the double chocolate chip, people love to add walnuts to it. So, when you go to like the cafes and you see those giant chocolate cookies with the walnuts?
Yes.
That's good with that. The sugar cookie, lemon extract is also good for that. People love to add lemon extract. I've also made it with the egg replacer, and I did, instead of I didn't have coconut oil or butter one day, so I did coconut butter. I melted it to make it soft, and then I put it together. So that was really, really held it together. And I did that with lemon extract and a chia egg. So it was very dairy free. So.
That's amazing. Is that the easiest mix to get dairy free?
They're all easy to do dairy free with the coconut oil, to be honest with you.
Okay. That is very helpful if we can replace coconut oil in all of them.
You can. They're all, I don't put in some of them because, the muffins, you can actually, once we get to that one, you can actually even use olive oil for them if you're going savory.
Wow. Right.
Which is my favorite. So, yeah.
Okay.
I love olive oil.
But you would say coconut oil you could replace, and then for eggs, the best one is the cookies.
Yeah, the cookies, you can do egg replacers. Someone has actually done, and I'm actually working right now, my next trial Tuesday when I get back to New York, is I'm trying to see if I can replace the eggs in the brownie and the blondie mixes with nut butter. And I'm just still trying, and I think I can. I was able to do egg whites, and that worked out, but it didn't taste, for me, it didn't taste as good as I would want them to be, so that's why I'm not putting them on the back. But yeah, I'm going to be working on egg replacers for the other ones too, because a lot of people have been asking me about that lately, which I found interesting.
For us, the questions we get are just egg replacements, not necessarily egg yolk replacements, but
yeah, I've been getting, can they do whites? And I was like, okay. And then I was like, let's see. So I'm going to do that. But also I have had someone who made the brownies with flaxseed egg, but they had to really put it in the fridge and let it settle, and it worked, but I didn't feel comfortable with sharing it. But once I put it up.
Are you excited to move on to the pancakes and the muffins?
I am. Breakfast.
Because breakfast. And just Stella made your muffins in 3 different, like savory, sweet, and just in the middle.
I love that.
Okay, let's talk about
the muffins, because I also have a soft spot for those. So
okay.
I was spending forever trying to make muffins.
Yeah.
And I still remember. And Gus was really little, actually like 2 months. And I was like making them and making them and making them. And sometimes they'd cave in. Sometimes like, and I was like, you know what, why am I like, there are people, like I have some customers who don't want any sugar alcohols, even though erythritol is, I think, the best of the lot. Some people still don't even do well with that. Fair enough. So I was like, well, let me just try without it. And so when I did it, and I loved how it tasted. There's this taste that it had, and I really liked it. And I was like, wow, why don't, and because I was trying to make blueberry muffins. Right. I was like, you know what? Some people don't like blueberries. And I was like, and if I go into like the muffin hole, there's like so many muffins that I could kind of do with this. So I was like, let me do it where they can just do whatever they want, add erythritol if they, not, you don't even need that much if you wanted to add it. And so then that's how those came to be. And I was like super excited. Like if you ask my husband, he couldn't have another muffin. He was going to throw up. But because I make him taste everything, him and the kids. I'm like, sure. Do you like it? Is it good? He goes, yeah. And then I started to realize, I don't even think he's giving me his honest opinion, because I gave him the same one, but they just look different. And he goes, I like this one better. I go, really? Why? He goes, just taste better. I go, they're the same one. Thank you. Right. Nothing different. I caught you. But yeah, so that with the muffins, what I personally like to do, and I put it on my trial Tuesday, is I like them savory, and I replace the oil butter with olive oil. And then I add za'atar, which is like a thyme mix. Someone could add something else. I do shredded mozzarella cheese. Okay. And I do shredded zucchini. Obviously, you have to take out the liquid. The customer gave me the idea of, she's like, can you do zucchini? Tell me how it works. I go, sure. And then I just started adding stuff because I'm my mom's daughter. And then, we can't stop at one. And it was my favorite combination. Like I couldn't make it again because I was like going to eat all of it. And I made the muffins before I came to Austin because I was like, oh, let me put some in my purse. I didn't have any left. I was like, what is wrong with me? I was like, what is this?
And the muffins freeze really well?
Like very well. They freeze well. I put everything. Actually, I've been very lucky that all the mixes freeze pretty well. Yeah, we tested the Blondies and it freezes amazingly. They freeze. Blondies for sure. They're still moist. And so the muffins, I'm a savory kind of gal with them. Right. That's the route. And I have that recipe on my site. Great. Awesome. So that one's great. Talk to us about the pancakes. So the pancakes, what excite me about the pancakes is that you don't even have to make pancakes. All you have to do is add 1 egg and you can make scones. What? 1 egg. And look at this face. I know. And you make scones, and I love scones. And so you just add 1 egg. And the reason that came about is I was like, let me do my trial Tuesday. Right. I was like, I really feel like having scones. And I was like, wait a second. As I was like measuring out stuff, I was like, let me see if I can just use my pancake mix. Like, this is what happens to me. This is how sad I am. Right. And so, I had Gus. Where else? Yeah. Right here. Yeah. And so it was perfect, just adding 1 egg. And I was like, and then I just like plopped it onto the parchment paper. I cut it up, and it happened, and it worked. I was like, oh my God. So you can make eggs, and you can make a quick bread. I made a quick bread with it. And people have been really loving the quick bread with the pancake mix. So I'm actually working on getting the exact measurements so that I can maybe even change the label to say pancake mix plus you can make quick bread and scones. So, and have that on the back. How do you make quick bread? I can't, now I'm trying to remember. I think it's 3 I have it on my trial Tuesday. Oh, don't even worry. I won't even hold you to it, but I was just thinking. Okay, yeah, I believe it's either two eggs or 3 eggs, and then a 1/4 cup oil, I believe, and then you pour it into the thing, and then that's it. And so people have been adding cinnamon and chocolate swirls and all this. And I was like, how do you take what I made and make it better? Stella asked, for the scones, would you add 1 egg to the whole package? Mm-hmm. You just put 1 mix, 1 whole package, 1 egg, and then you can add any flavorings. I made one where I added the 1 egg, and when it worked out, I was excited. And then I get actually the Coco Polo. They sent me their baking chips. They're baking chips. And I pressed it into the scones because like the scones that have chocolate chips are usually those giant chocolate chips. It was perfect.
Oh, that sounds so perfect.
It was so good. I mean, I may have had like shoveled a couple of handfuls of the chocolate chips in my mouth at the same time, but it was perfect.
Yeah, we're a little bit sensitive about the chocolate chips because Coca-Cola is still working on getting them in.
Trust
And
me, I'm sensitive too because I
we're
want them to
just,
be the replacement chips for my mix, and it wasn't possible time-wise. Otherwise, I was gonna have no no more cookie mixes until next year. So
that's so exciting though. They're obviously a wonderful company and, you know,
amazing.
amazing company. Yeah. Okay, so we've got pancakes and muffins. I want to see if there were any other questions. So Brian really, my partner, really wanted to know about peanut butter. So which kind of mixes work really well with peanut butter?
Oh my God, that's a great question. So the sugar cookie, you can replace the coconut. If you want to do coconut oil or whatever, you can do peanut butter instead.
Right?
The double chocolate chip cookie works really well with peanut butter. And the
Wow.
chocolate chip cookie, I've done that as well.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if there's any mix that doesn't work well with the peanut butter.
I love it.
I love peanut butter.
That's great. He's
Like, yeah.
so obsessed with it.
I'm obsessed with peanut butter. Like, I'm pretty disgusting. I like scoop it out and shove it into my mouth. It's really bad. But, and like, you know, when you open up a new peanut butter and it's like beautiful.
I know.
And then you're like, should I?
I get it. I get it.
Should I leave you?
We had a question. Can you freeze the dough after mixing if you want to bake a small batch?
I haven't tried that. I
Small
prefer, yeah, I prefer not to. I prefer you just either have the portion and leave the other half of the mix in the fridge to use later, or I would make everything and just freeze the portions. The freezing of the portions has worked well for everyone so far. Not
great. Sounds amazing. We just brought on Eat Fatso, which I have to send you some, but it's like a mix of avocado oil, chia seeds, peanut butter.
Wow.
And so Stella just came up with Eat Fatso sugar cookies, which
sounds good.
I can't even wait. Okay, I know that Instagram might kick us off after an hour, so I want to, I'll quickly ask you a few more questions. Sure. What is your, okay, so for someone who has no idea where to start, what mix do you think they should start with?
If they like chocolate, the brownies.
Okay.
And if they don't like chocolate, I would say I'm partial to the blondies or the yellow cake. Blondies, though, some people are sensitive to sunflower seed taste. So then the yellow cake would be probably the most neutral.
Sounds great. I think that's great. And what is your go-to mix to bring to, so this is like, I'm so excited about this question. What's your go-to mix to bring to a party where you're just like, I want to impress everyone that isn't low carb or isn't sugar-free, but I just want to bring, like I actually just want to bring, you know, a mix.
Yes. So that would be either the brownies or the sugar cookie.
Okay. So you would say sugar cookie or the brownies?
Yes. The brownie, especially because in New York, a lot of people have allergies, and then some people have nut allergies, so that one's a safe bet because it's sunflower seed.
I cannot wait. I love it. I love that some of your mixes, or pretty much almost half of them, are sunflower seed.
Mm-hmm. My son was in preschool when I was doing all the testing, and all the schools in New York are nut-free facilities. So I just ended up switching. And by the way, like also the carb count for sunflower seed is really good, and so I switched it.
That's great.
And in the very beginning, it was originally made with almond flour, and if you see Keto Connect's cookbook, they'll show you the original recipe that I had for mine when that had the gelatin in it, and they did that, and so I gave them that, and they tweaked it to make it even better. Yeah, because they're so good at that. And telling them, yes, that's why I'm now kind of going back to my almond flour roots. But I love having sunflower seed options. A lot of people cannot handle almond flour. Yeah,
for sure. I absolutely love, and even the muffin mixes are with sunflower seed, which I'm just.
I really think, and I've tried. I was like, let me just see how it would taste with almond flour, because I wasn't able to find an almond flour warehouse until last summer, and then I lost that facility around Christmas time. They did my last run for me, and then I had to find a new one. So it was like very stressful. It's not easy. I'll tell you. No, I was gonna have like a panic attack. I was like, I'm gonna faint. So and then you get on Instagram like, hey guys, sorry about that, and you're on the phone. You're like, where's my almond flour mixes? For sure. Needed. So you get it. So I love both, I have to say. So
no, that sounds amazing. I am so excited. Okay, let me see if there's can we we've talked about advanced prep, so all of this could be, so there's a couple of our customer friends that are going like, camping is huge. Camping is huge in Canada. A lot of long weekends. People, you know, with their families, they go camping or they go up to a cottage. All of them, you're saying, could be pre-made and kind of taken in your purse or taken with you, like in frozen. I'm just trying to think of camping. What would be
Okay,
easiest?
yeah. So when you take things, what I would do is I would take them, like, how long is the camping trip? Because these last
a weekend.
Oh, a weekend, then they're actually fine with, I've had it be fine without the fridge at all. So what I would do is maybe like you're saying, freeze them and then they can thaw. But even if you make them fresh, you take them with you, because these are very moist mixes. If you wrap in a paper towel and then put in a plastic bag, that would be good. Or foil works really well. With the foil, I usually leave it out 2 to 3 days and it's fine. Or Tupperware. But try to put paper towel because of the moistness.
Okay. Can I just tell you how valuable this is?
Well,
we're going to do a blog post with all of your tips and tricks, and it's going to be amazing because it's so.
I honestly am so. First of all, I was very nervous to do this, but I won't stop talking because I don't seem that nervous, but I am. And then the second thing is, like, I get, and I'm not, I hope it doesn't come off disingenuous, but like I get so happy. Like I respond to all my messages. I'm the one, like, you know, and I know people are saying, you know, work smarter, not harder. I'm like, no, I'd rather do both. So like that's my favorite part, is like talking to people about it. I get really excited, and I'm like always touched when people say they like it so much, because I'm very hard on myself. And so I'm just like, I feel like I can always make things better. I'm a perfectionist. So when someone says, I'm like, thank you. Like I really, to take time out of their day to send me a message. Not only did they buy my mix, they're sending me a compliment on top of it. How nice is that?
Totally. I can't, we were talking about something yesterday, like, so Tara, who right now our designer, she works with us and she's upstairs actually. She's Switch moderator right now. And we were talking yesterday and she said, you know, I said, oh, we've never ever complained about our customers. We might have complained about, oh, the insurance guy, or oh, the shipment person, or oh, this and that, but just, I cannot believe that. And I always say this, I'm like, you know, people, like, time is people's biggest resource, right? Like, yeah, there's money, but even then you're spending your time to make money. And the honor of having people buy, you know, these mixes of, you know, supporting both of our businesses. And they're just giving us, like, there's no other honor, I think, that's bigger than that. And they're supporting. And I know that you said, you know, I want to point out, you said that you don't have a specific employee, but like the amount of people that your business, that Goodies touches, the contractors, the people that are, you know, working on the ingredients, the fulfillment center, like the insurance guy contributing and creating, it's insane. So,
no, I mean, and likewise, like, I feel like, you know, and I know we've talked about this, like sometimes, like the issues I have now with it, I'm just like, I always, every day I stop myself and I'll tell my husband, I'm like, I can't believe this is an issue that I have. Like, I'm a real company. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, how lucky, I'm so lucky that this is an issue that I have.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like equivalent to a first world problem, but for a business. And I feel really, really lucky. So every day I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. It's so cool that I can, you know, still go and pick up my son from school, and I can still take him in the morning. I mean, I'm sleepy and I'm exhausted, but you know, that was the whole point. I'm going to start a company so I can go and take my kids to school, and not miss out, you know, and just maybe work until midnight, but at least I'm working for myself. And I know a lot of people send me messages late at night. I'm like, hey guys, no, go to sleep. You're crazy. I mean, and I'm still learning that balance, to be honest with you. I don't know how to disconnect. I think, I know you're the same. You think about it all the time, new things and growing and expanding and fixing, and should I change this? And I go over stuff. I'm like, why did I do that? Why didn't I do this instead? And then getting mad at yourself, and then getting mad at the people who are making you late on stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, but it's cool. Like, these are problems that we have now. How cool is that?
No, it's fantastic. And I just, there's never a moment where I wouldn't be doing this. And I just, you know, even we talked about like our whole corporate, I was at an Ernst & Young get together yesterday, and so many people were talking to me and they were just like, oh, at least you're working for yourself. At least you're like, you know, like, and I remember I said to them, actually, I said, I loved my corporate job too, because I think every job, like, I don't think that, now we're getting into something different, but like, it's a tangent, but I'm just going to finish my sentence. I think that people, I think people will have multiple jobs in their lifetime. And I think that everything that I learned in corporate is serving me now, and everything that I'm learning now is going to serve me in the future. And like, that's just
So
what it's all
cool.
about. Right.
I mean, but I think we always learn, like, there's some people who find out what they should, like, I would never have thought 10 years ago, this is what I've been doing. And I would have eliminated sugar and gone and eliminate carbs. And, you know, and again, I did want to point out, like, a lot of people, I'm really lucky, follow me, are not just on the ketogenic lifestyle. Like, that's why I'm not specific on that, because people who are keto do it. I have a lot of diabetics, and which is important to me because my grandfather had it, God rest his soul. I have cousins who have it. It's like, it's a very big deal to me. It's very scary. Like, diabetes is scary. I'm terrified of it, to be honest with you. It is not easy. And for everyone who lives with it every day, and the fact that they send me messages saying I have diabetes, but I get to still have stuff because of your mixes, makes me so happy and grateful.
For sure.
You know, I have people who have, their kids have maybe epilepsy or ADHD. Or there's people who, I've had a few, and these make me sad, so I don't want to cry, but I'll just say it quickly. They have cancer, and they can't have, you know, cancer feeds on the sugar. And so this is like their treat to stay happy. And I'm just like, wow, okay, I don't want to get emotional, but they're like, oh God, they chose me. And I'm really grateful. So it's nice. It touches, it's not just people who want to, it's just like, it's so many different people, which is so cool to me. So
totally. Like, we have a lot of vegans shop on on SwitchGrocery, and I'm so appreciative, you know, that we have options that they can
there's just people, and there's you know, and I have a lot of vegetarians, I have a lot of vegans, that's why I've now been experimenting with eliminating eggs on certain mixes to see what they can use, because that's a commitment. That's a very committed lifestyle. So
absolutely. Okay, I just don't want Instagram to kick us off. Oh, okay. So my last question is, can you talk about the cornbread?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I'm very nervous. No one has posted about it yet because they all just got sent out. And so, as anyone who's heard me talk before, I get nauseous. I haven't been sleeping well the last few days. Not just because of my kids. I'm like, what if someone's like, that's disgusting. Like, I just like, that's what I think. I'm like so stressed out about it. But the cornbread came because I'm born and raised in Austin, Texas, where I am right now, because I visit my parents.
Woo, Texas!
I actually had both my kids here. Like, my 2 C-sections were in Austin. That's how committed I am. So, I missed it. I was like, I just want cornbread, and corn is, you know. And so I was working on it. It also doesn't have any sugar alcohol, so I wanted to say that. I just forgot to put that on the package. I updated the package now. It has no sugar alcohols in it. And it is amazing to me. I would recommend people putting cheese and jalapenos once they make it regular the first time around, or with sweet cream butter that has no sugar in it, but like just like a sweeter kind of butter, not like maybe the unsalted. Someone has, you know, there's the xylitol sweetened honey. So someone said unsalted butter with that honey on top. That sounded amazing to me.
Great.
But I would do the spicy route. I'm a spicy kind of gal. If you can't tell.
Done and done. So. And does the cornbread have stevia in it?
It does have stevia. I don't use the monk fruit extract. One, you told me it's not even allowed in Canada, which is amazing. Thank you for telling me that.
Within products, it's not.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And so thank you. And then the second thing is monk fruit. I didn't find it making such a difference in what I was doing, and that also, it's a high cost, and that was going to have to carry over to the customers, and it didn't seem worth it to me. I'm also a numbers kind of girl, so I love math, and I was like, no.
And I would say most of our customer friends are kind of stevia and erythritol anyway. So
yeah, I mean, and I feel like those have a lot of research on them, a little bit more. I mean, monk fruit too, but I just don't. Everyone's like monk fruit. I was like, cool. You know, if it's there, I'll use it, but I'm not going to put it in my drink. It's really expensive. It's like 3 times the price of stevia.
Well, it was only approved as a tabletop sweetener in Canada about maybe 4 years ago. And even in the US, like, it's been kind of in the last decade.
Yeah, I've noticed it. And also the monk fruit sweeteners, though, that are here, a lot of them have like dextrose in it and maltodextrin, and that can also affect people's blood sugar. And so I'm like, no. Yeah.
Do you want to, there was something that you had explained to me about the fiber in your, mix being different. If you can touch on that.
Yeah. So basically the brands that I use have been around a long time. So there are a lot. So basically when something becomes profitable, which is now the kind of the low carb train, people are going to come in and
Great.
they're going to be doing things. So there's now new brands coming in that are prebiotic fibers. Now, I use prebiotic from tapioca. You can use corn too. I just did that because I wanted some of the mixes to be grain-free.
Right.
I just want to be specific. I might go back to corn. It just depends. But the brands I use have been along for a long time, and they've made, actually one of them is a Canadian company. And like the Canadians are very thorough. So like they're not making certain claims if they're not true. But I've tried other prebiotic fibers, and they did raise my blood sugar. So I'm not saying brand names matter, but when it comes to this, I'm very specific on it because I know there's other products that use prebiotic fibers now, and it is raising blood sugars, and I've been very lucky that mine haven't. So,
okay, that's very helpful.
Yeah.
And Martina, actually, monk fruit as a tabletop sweetener is allowed. It's just not permitted inside products at this point. There's still products that are being sold in Canada, but anyone can kind of call the authorities on them, so we don't really carry any products with.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm a stickler for rules, so please, yeah.